Irish guy, and Leeds United are breaking my brain. They had it. They were living the dream. They had Marcelo Bielsa in charge, playing a wacky, free-flowing, entertaining brand of football in the Premier League. Bielsa, one of the biggest names in European management, formerly of Argentina, Chile, Athletic Bilbao, Marseille, Lazio, Lille. The guy was Guardiola's idol. I mean, he was the one sitting in the Leeds United stadium dugout. And instead, you just got big Sam Allardyce munching on a chicken kebab and getting Monster Munch crumbs all over Ellen Road. I mean, I know, it doesn't feel like such a massive drop-off, considering he's actually replacing Javi Gracia, who replaced Jesse Marsh. I mean, both managers are about as inspiring as a bag of Badger vomit, but from Bielsa to Allardyce, if I'm a Leeds fan, then I'm feeling very queasy. It'd probably feel like I've just eaten undercooked fish whilst googling photos of Susan Boyle's feet. Go back to December 2020, just 4 days after Christmas, and Bielsa's Leeds rocked up to the Hawthorns and stuck 5 past West Brom, with Allardyce looking like a bewildered, confused old bloke. A bit like somebody of his age struggling to understand who or what a Sam Smith is. Name one, just one Leeds fan on planet Earth that night who would have been content to one day swap managers. You would have more chance of Prince William's children looking at a homeless man weeing himself outside a bus stop and asking their dad if they can go and live with him. Lads, I'm going to say this. Gracia was absolutely a wet bag of coaching cement. Hands down, his Leeds United tenure this season was the worst effort from any manager in the Premier League all year. And lads, Frank Lampard is right now making himself look like he's got less tactical knowledge than a Rice Krispie bun. I know that Gracia needed to go. I mean, did any Leeds player have any respect for him? No, they'd probably have more respect for a corrupt lollipop lady who enjoys throwing school kids in front of a bus. But Allardyce, Big Sam, hiring him in 2023 in the Premier League. Again, that's a bit like a budding young 23-year-old pop star choosing to go on a date with John Cleese. You know, that wrinkly old sock of faulty towers? Someone who probably always stinks of gone off parmesan. Lads, there's a reason that people like Neil Warnock get jobs in the Championship. Allardyce, he's no longer appreciated in modern football. He's not welcome in the Premier League anymore. But then again, I sort of blame myself, because nobody was tipping Allardyce to join Leeds. Nobody, not even his wife, saw this as a possibility. But I mean, there was one person who did dream up the scenario 2 weeks ago.
They are sliding back towards the bottom 3, and Gracia, he's not the man to help them. Sack him! I know it'll look insane, but sack him! Trust me, get rid of Gracia now. This is Leeds United. They should be able to attract a quality emergency interim. If I'm the Leeds chairman, I'm ringing up Bruno Lage, Patrick Vieira, Ralph Hasenhüttl, Andre Villas-Boas, even Scott Parker would be a better fit for this squad. What about the ex-Rangers twins, Giovanni Van Brons or Steven Gerrard, or Sam Allardyce?
Yeah, I know this is a clip of me suggesting that you hire Allardyce, but I didn't actually think you'd really go and do it. Yes, technically, he is an upgrade on Gracia, but he's also about as exciting as Shrek. This might just be the most desperate appointment in Premier League history, and I'll tell you why. The club have given Allardyce a base salary of £500,000 plus an extra 2.5 million if he keeps them in the Premier League. That could be £3 million for 4 games' work. Allardyce has literally been on the piss in Dubai with his wife. The guy is a semi-retired Onslow who spent the last 7 years drinking beer and munching on about 7 pies before bed. Honestly, he probably brushes his teeth with ice cream. This is a man who quit Chris Palace 6 years ago and said he had no ambition to take another job. I mean, the reason he left Sellers Park was because he was sick of being a relegation firefighter and actually wanted to have an ambitious job where he could qualify for Europe. Yeah, this is his 3rd job since. Lads, I remember Big Sam said he wanted to retire at 55. He was going to retire after Bolton. He's nearly 70 now. This man who said that he deserves jobs like Inter Milan and Real Madrid. I mean, his dream goal was to one day manage Manchester United. You know, the enemy of Leeds, which is why he probably spent about 10 years pretending to be Fergie's mate. I mean, laughing at his terrible Scottish jokes, sending him a bag of muffins in the post, probably offering to buy pizza off his chin. I mean, he was even mean to Fergie's enemies. Even to this day, if he bumped into Rafa Benitez down the park, he'd probably beat him up and steal his lunch money. This is a man who thinks he's one of the most underrated managers in world sport, but really, he's always just that desperate last roll of the dice. This is the Leeds United survival package. It is such a short-term mess that even Allardyce's number 2, Sammy Lee, won't even be joining him for the job. I mean, sure, this guy's made a career out of being a mini teddy bear who lives in Big Sam's pocket. I mean, he probably sleeps at the foot of his bed, but he won't be taking up this lucrative job opportunity because he's too busy being away on jury duty. So instead of trying to save Leeds United, Lee is what? Deciding whether or not some delinquent teenager really did spray paint a knob on Mrs. Iverson's shed. Instead, Allardyce is having to call up Carl Robinson, that journeyman manager from MK Dons, Charlton and Oxford. Someone who's never actually been a number 2 in his life. And suddenly, after 13 years of going it on his own, he has to spend a month just microwaving Allardyce's morning pie and handing out the bibs. Oh, Christ, a bit degrading this. I mean, it was only 7 years ago that Robinson was actually turning down an offer to become Leeds' actual manager. And now he's what, just watering the plants in Big Sam's office and fetching him sausage pies at Greg's. It is too late. This appointment is far too late. Leeds have 4 games left. Manchester City away is one of them, so really 3 games left. I mean, I know they wanted this ground when Bielsa was at the wheel, but let's be real. This is a focused, determined Man City who are on a roll. You could do a Freaky Friday role reversal. Give Pep this Leeds team and give Allardyce the Man City squad. I mean, sure, Erling Haaland might be a bit confused as to why he's being barked up by someone whose breath smells of pie, but City would still win the match. Then it's a home game with Newcastle. I mean, Big Sam trying to outwit Eddie Howe, someone who is a far more ambitious breed of English manager than him. Allardyce probably looks at all the plaudits that Howe is getting and probably feels like ripping off his skin through sheer jealousy. Surely this is another 0 points. And then what? A trip to West Ham to face another of his former clubs. Allardyce has been around the block so often that 50% of his games as Leeds manager are just bitter games against the club who sacked him. But yeah, a trip to West Ham is a winnable game. It is. As is the whole match with Tottenham. I mean, I've always said it. Spurs always end the season with a nutty result, but I don't think they're going to do it. He has less than a month in charge. What is he actually going to achieve in 4 weeks? This Leeds squad has already proven they're a demoralised mess. They can't do anything right. They can't even walk past a small waving child without the internet deciding that they're selfish brats who should be burned at the stake. Right now, these Leeds players probably hate football. But lads, the Premier League is out of imagination. It is. Because of the huge levels of money involved in the game. You would assume this would mean a better quality standard of coaching. But it's the opposite. These chairmen don't think outside the box. I mean, if you don't believe me, right. These have been some managerial changes this season. Rewind a full year ago and tell Chelsea fans that the following season they'd be swapping out Thomas Tuchel for Graham Potter. I would hope that most of the Stamford Bridge faithful would respond to that news as if they'd just been offered to go under the mistletoe with Seth Rogen. I mean, Southampton fans would have had to be told that their fan favourite Ralph Hasenhüttl would be getting binned off for that Welsh bloke at Luton Town, and then after him, Ruben Selles, someone with less experience than a bag of squash skittles. I mean, Bournemouth turned down a Bielsa interview to just stick with Gary O'Neill. I mean, it has paid off, but still, his appointment was still about as exciting as an egg milk shake. Everton have essentially gone from a European powerhouse in Rafa Benitez to a sacked Burnley coach in just over a year. Leeds have appointed a Watford failure like Javi Gracia. Lads, we are going to end the season with Chelsea being managed by Lampard. Leicester City are being steered by Dean Smith. A Norwich City disaster. I mean, Tottenham have a little boy like Ryan Mason in charge. Where are the left field risks? Where are the ambitious appointments? Instead, it's all just about reaching into the past. Hodgson and Allardyce are 2 former England managers who should be sitting at home with their feet up on the couch, wolfing down a Big Mac whilst their wife knits them a scarf and slips Viagra into their stew. Lampard, Dyche and Smith should all be licking their wounds in the Championship, while Selles, I don't know, should be working in a little bookshop. There were 3 ambitious managerial appointments this season. 3. Roberto De Zerbi, Unai Emery and Julian Lopetegui. 3. That is it. 3. Is this really the answer, Leeds? To rest your Premier League survival hopes on a former Limerick manager? Lads, Leeds are going down. And so choosing to just put $500,000 in Big Sam's pocket. All you're doing now is effectively just paying for an extension on his house. Because I can tell you now, he's not keeping you up. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen with Leeds and Big Sam? Let me know. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe as always. I'll talk to you in a while.